acclaimed guidebook, Totally Awesome Training, which I believe is one of the ones that one of you would be lucky to get today, and put gamification to work for you, Monica Pernetti.
Okay, gamification. When we look at the definition of gamification, it's taking game elements and game mechanics, which is the psychology of gaming, and putting it into a non-game context. I like to think of gamification as getting people to do what you want them to do, and they thank you for it. And when we're looking at designing and delivering effective training for boomers, and for Gen X, and for millennials, and now we got, what do they call it, Gen Zens, the ones that were born after 2000 who are starting to enter the workplace. In order to design effective training, gamification will be one of the strongest tools that you have in your toolbox. And let me give you a little bit of good news right now, in case you're worried about it. It doesn't mean you have to play games. So if you don't like to play games, you don't have to. It does not mean you have to be a gamer. So if you're not scratching right now because you haven't been playing Candy Crush all morning, you're still okay. Now, if you understand what makes Candy Crush so addictive, that will help. But you don't have to be a gamer, and you don't have to be a techie. What we do have to do is understand what motivates people, how to design good instructional programs, which I'm feeling that you probably have a good handle on that. And then you add that layer of gamification. So the best way to learn about gamification is to do gamification. And when we're thinking about gamification, I was talking to Miles over here, you start talking to another trainer and you can't get us to shut up, right? We are so excited about training and what we're designing and how people are getting it and how they change from this to that, and we just can't get enough of it. In reality, this is a lot of our audience. They don't want to be there, they don't want to take it, just tell me what I need to know, I don't want it. And the cool thing about gamification is going back to what can we do, especially for this generation and the one next of millennials, Gen Z. Now, not that we just designed for them, because gamification will cross all generations for you, but what can we do to draw them in? And come on, we've been there, right? You've been in a training where about 20 minutes into it you thought, kill me. Please, someone, kill me now, because if I have to sit here, I'm dead anyhow. We may have even designed some of those trainings. You'll hear that at some point? You know, that's not working. We've all been there, right? We think this is going to be fantastic, and then we roll it out and that didn't work. But the thing is that we can always change it, and that's a big part of gamification. So today, in our time together, we've got 50 minutes. I am going to be giving you an overview of our trademark system that's called Game the System. Now, when we do the certification, which is on May 8th, we'll be going into this deeper, because this is a proven system for designing, for instructional design, for learning and development programs. There's 5 levels, 30 spaces on the game board. I can tell you that if you do each space on the game board, if you walk through them, some will take you just seconds, other will take you a little bit longer, you're basically guaranteed success if you do the 5 levels. And so we're going to do just an overview of it today, because we have our 15 minutes together. So we'll be going through level 1, which is the Lost Lagoon. That's where we define objectives. 2 is Dead Men Tell No Tales. That's where we bring in narrative and a storyline. Now, I had the honor, talk about geeking out, I had the honor of interviewing Tiagi yesterday for my radio program. Does anybody know who Tiagi is? Are you familiar with the name? I mean, he wrote to me and said, may I be on your program? And I was like, I don't know, can you send me your resume? Can you be on my program? Are you kidding? I want to sit at the master's feet. We talked for like an hour and a half. And the one thing that Tiagi and I talked about is that we both agree 100% that level 2 is a must-have in most trainings, because that narrative will help us to tie it together. So we'll do that. Level 3 is Pete's Tavern, where we learn how to mix things up. 4 is the Gamification Mechanics, and that's where in the certification we'll spend a good deal of time on that, because that's the psychology of it. There are, to my knowledge, about 300 game mechanics. In gamification design, less is more. We don't need to put all 300 in a 1-hour webinar. A little overdone. Less is more. And then the fifth is just where we tie it up. Now, when you look at the technology, it is all the way up there at space 29. Because we don't need to start thinking about the technology until we do the strategy. If we start with technology, or if we start with a company that has a gamification platform, and there's a ton of good ones out there, they'll be designing your program to fit their platform, not to fit the needs of your players. So we always start with strategy and then go find the technology that would fit our strategy, not in reverse. So we don't do that to the very end. And I want us to go ahead and dive right into it. So first thing I need us to do, and if you'll be flexible with me, in order for us to really get the hands-on with gamification, it works best if we're in groups of less than 6. So if a few people could be flexible, this would be wonderful. And it's really just a few. I'd like you to kind of move your chairs, not kind of. I'd like you to move your chairs so that we're in groups of no less than 4 and no more than 6. Can you do that for me? Can you do a quick count? No less than 4, no more than 6. Some of you are good where you are. And that's an analyze. Oh, take off about 5 if you work at that. Here you go, we'll get you another one.
Wow, I just...
Luckily, we can make more, right? Okay. Oh my gosh, this is good. Okay, well, you're doing good. Do you want another one? We can get you another one. All right. You have a placard that you put at your table also. A big part of gamification, and when you look at the study and the science of gamification, some of the controversy right now about gamification is it's getting too individually player-focused and not social enough. I disagree. I don't think we need to design that way. I think we can design social. So part of that is using social media. You can use social platforms that are within your organization. You get bonus points for a variety of different types of social media. Those are on the placard that your captain brought back to the table. If you do any of those, make sure to tell your scorekeeper so you know to get those points added to your total. Does that make sense? We ready to go? Ready? Okay. Level 1 in our map is our objectives. Captains, in your bag, you have a set of cards. I want you to pull the orange card up first. It says on it, level 1, the Lost Lagoon.
Team effort.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay. That is going to be your objective for this sample training that we're going to design today. So just turn that over and read to your team what that is that you're going to be thinking about designing the training for today. Level 1, the Lost Lagoon card, that's your objective, okay? Captains, will you read that to your team?
New, safely, and productive.
What it means to be
Your challenge is to
qualities
design
affect
a new employee
different leadership styles.
to teach supervisors how to do it.
Qualities affect different styles and benefits. 4 things.
Your table, just shake your head, yes, we got that objective. Okay, score people, we got it, we got it? Okay. Now, here is our overall objective. And like I think this table, you have customer service, right? Customer service skills. Here's the thing, I know this probably never happened to you, but it might at some time when someone comes up to you and says, hey, we need some customer service training. And you say to them, well, what is it that we want to achieve? Well, we just need to have a more consistent interaction with our customers. Okay, that's good. Well, what do we want that interaction to look like? And you gotta keep, what? Peeling it away, peeling it back, peeling it back. Because designing customer service training is just an idea. What we have to have is, what are the actions that we specifically want different than what we have now, so we can design the training to give that. The coolest thing about gamification to me is that although it's a ton of fun, it is also one of your best ways to show a measurable ROI. Because you're going to actually measure behaviors or actions. So right now, if we want people to say hello to everyone who walks in the door, but they're only doing it 1 out of 5 times, then right now we know we're only getting it 20% of the time, and within 30 days we want it at least at 50, whatever that number is. But we have to know where we are and where we want to be. So with each of these trainings, we can't just say we're going to design customer service. We have to know some clear, measurable objectives that we want to achieve so that we can design and add the gamification overlay to get people to behave differently. And if we don't want to talk about different behaviors, then we can say do different actions. But if I use the word behaviors, what I mean is an action that they're taking, okay? So with your table now, I'm going to give you a ton of time. 3 minutes. You got 3 minutes to come up with one measurable objective that you can put a measurement to it for this type of course that you've been asked to design. Okay, captains, go ahead. 3 minutes. I'm going to put it on the clock.
To own their solutions, and put ideas in for solutions. So you could, the way that I did this with my team last was I made them give me quarterly goals, the things that they thought they needed to accomplish to help the organization fulfill its business goals. And so they told me what they were going to do, and then they executed on it. We did a quarterly follow-up to see how did that execution.
No, I like that. I kind of feel measuring the results of people that you're leading in a better way. And people are actually, if you're leading, people are actually following you and doing what you're asking to do, and measuring their results would help in turn, figure out if you're actually leading them.
But what we're looking for is the objective of the training program, something we're trying to accomplish from the training program, not just actions along the way. But that could be my mistake, so you get 100 for that. Who else? Yes.
Ours is also health and financial related.
Okay.
So we said we
Anyone here?
Oh.
Okay, so
increase 20% our employees that are using the 401k plan.
okay, increase by 20% employees who are using 401k. Is that measurable? Yes. Yes. How many do we have right now?
2.
Really good answer. Very good. Good. Although we get 200 for that, most definitely. I'd like us to change it to a real number. Because have you ever noticed how people can fudge statistics? Oh, we had a 50% increase. Well, you only had one person before. So, 50, is that really something that has achieved the objective? All right, if you believe you have a measurable objective, go ahead and give yourselves 100 points. You guys go ahead and get 2 back there. Good job. Yes. Look at me. I know I've thrown a challenge out there and you guys can't quit till you solve it. Now I know how you're wired, but just really, we're just playing here. You don't really have to design this program, okay? We're just playing. Okay. So, but that was a good question. Well, are we talking dollars? I thought we wanted them to increase their deposits by 20%. Are we talking people? So right away we have a confusion over what actions we want. And so that's good though, because we'll get that out in the conversation. Here's what we can't have. I had a conversation yesterday about a gentleman who wants me to work with him on a customer service training. And I was like, well, what do they not have that they want? He said, well, they need consistent interaction. I said, well, what will that look like? Well, they have 100 branches. Well, but what are they doing now that they're not getting what they want? What do they want? And my more important question, what will that get for them? What will training somebody to say hello to everybody that comes in the door? Maybe that's a good thing. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying if we're going to invest all of this, what are we not getting that by having them do this new action, this new habit, that we're going to get something that's going to be worthwhile to the bottom line of the organization? However we're measuring that bottom line. I'm not just talking about money. Does that make sense? All right, so as you can see, there's a lot more we have to do to dig into objectives. Captain, if you would, give the die in your bag to somebody on your team.
You have it.
Have them roll the die. Whatever number they get, they need to look at that space on the level 1 and give your team an idea of how they might apply what you've been talking about with objectives back in the workplace.